Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, it is Aussieverse, and we are back. I am OmniBeau, joined by the Sharif and SingleIssue Steve. And today we are coming at you with that favorite time of the year, at least for me. Well, Christmas. At least one of the times anyway. I was going to say, you do have, Christmas. You've got your birthday, anniversaries.
Oh, you had to drop that in, didn't you?
What?
Mister, it's almost my birthday. Let's just quietly chuck that in. Fuck's sake.
But one of the other best times of the year is when we, the Omnibus collected edition community, get together. Yeah, that made sense. Get together, and we get to vote. Shut up. We get to vote via near mint condition and Tigereyes' poll. He's been doing it annually for many years. many years. And it's just been something that has really brought the community together. We all get to choose omnibuses that have never been created before and vote on them. And Marvel have printed quite a significant number of these over the years. Big special thanks to Tigereyes for starting this so long ago when it was just probably pieces of paper and a pen to what it is today, to bringing it to near mint condition. And near mint condition also, thank you for being able to run this every single year as well. This brings a lot of joy to people, and I'm hoping to spread the word a little bit as well and get other people to vote in for what omnibuses they may want, even if they are not omnibus collectors themselves, but possibly want a collected edition in a big format for some story that they can't buy right now. How are you guys going?
Good.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to talking about Marvel stuff, which is not my wheelhouse, so it's going to be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Don't worry about it, Steve. You just be you, brother. Just like
I always am. Unless I'm that plant woman that we talked about the other night.
No.
Nope. It's gone from. Don't worry about it.
What's the FOC?
Oh, the FOC. Yeah. Was I there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you were.
Okay.
You questioned my plan.
Also, big, massive thank you to Crushing Crisis, because you know what? There's even more people to thank. There's people that just spend so many hours curating this list. I know Dom of X and a few other people get together and they literally spend hours going through. And I think they created about 600 to 650 different omnibuses that you could choose on. And they broke it down and made it so easy and a joy to watch the live stream on near mint condition as well. Without further ado, we will start going into it. But with just a little bit more ado, we do want to thank our four lifers. These are the people that do pay for Aussieverse each and every single month with a small fee. That does get them into our socials, especially on Instagram, where there is a chat where we talk about all sorts of comic goodness, and it gets you a few other perks as well. If you want to support Aussieverse but don't want to pay, that is totally fine, because all of these subscriptions do actually add up. And I kind of get it, man. Like, you want to support everybody, but you can't support everybody. Money doesn't grow on trees, unfortunately. But if you do, great. If you don't, just subscribe to the channel. That's the least you can do for us right now. Okay, moving on. I felt like that went on way too long. Let's get onto it now. We do have a little bit of a boom list here. We have got, let's start from number 10. Yeah?
Yep.
All right.
Let's count down.
So because Steve is probably the most nervous, we want to throw him in the deep end because that's how we roll. And we're going to go with Steve's number 10 pick. What is that, Steve?
Right. I've gone with Blade, the modern years. So 2002 to 2022. So haven't read heaps of Blade stuff. I really did like The Rise of the Midnight Suns. That's a really good story arc with all, the Night Stalkers. And yes, people, I do know something about some Marvel stuff because I used to collect it. So Yeah, Blade's pretty cool. And I like the more modern sort of stuff with Blade. So I looked at the list and I've gone, yeah, this is probably something I'd really be interested in reading. So I've gone with Blade the Modern Years from 10th pick.
Not a bad pick, man. I got to admit.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
I can see that being very, very attractive to a reader of not just Marvel. Yeah, I get it.
Cool.
Did that sound like a put down? Because it wasn't.
No, not at all. Not at all. I did not take it that way. Thank you for asking, mate.
I just heard what I said, and it sounded like I just could have been a complete asshole to you, and I didn't mean it that way.
It didn't come across as you don't know anything about this. You're shit. That's why other people would pick it. But good job, little fella. Didn't come across like that at all.
Sharif, sir.
My 10th pick is Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. I think right now the latest series, I think could be the 3rd series out, and so far the stuff that's already come out, Kills the Marvel Universe, I think that's a 5-issue series, and then Kills the Marvel Universe again, that's another 5, and with this current run, maybe another 5. Okay, so with 3 series, with a total of 15, it may not technically be a thick Omni, but Deadpool has been around for a long, long time, and he has killed a lot of superheroes, a lot of heroes. So stuff that's out of the Kills the Marvel Universe series can be added onto this one, and damn, with all this, the body count that he has, it's gonna be a thick one.
Okay. I see where you went with that. I see. You were losing me halfway through that, because the whole time I was thinking, those Marvel minibuses?
Yeah.
Well, we need, I think it's 5 to finish out all those Deadpool versus series, right? And I figured that because these weren't that big, they'd fit into another minibus, to be honest. And I thought that's going to be a really small omnibus. But then he started winning me over with content of just him versing a lot of other people in the Marvel universe. And that started to win me over a little. I started to...
Well, a lot of the Omnis, most of them will have material from some other series, issue, whatever. And then it's, just like 3 or 4 pages of that series. And Deadpool's all over the place. Get stuff from him, put it in his own Kills the Universe Omni, and done.
Yep, fair enough.
It would be a good Omni. Putting it all together, it'd be a good Omni, I reckon. Just makes sense.
So cool. I'm not going to lie, guys. My list in general, I was not thinking about making a show for good content. I just voted for literally what I wanted.
That's the whole point of the bloody show.
No, I mean it. I literally voted for exactly what I wanted. And it wasn't until after I submitted, I'm like, if I make a show about this, it's not going to be very interesting because it's mostly Spider-Man. I'm not going to lie. but then but you know what? I then started to think, for let's call it what it is. For a guy with a lot of omnibuses, if I could only get one thing in complete omnibus format, it would be Spider-Man. Everything Spider-Man. So I was kind of with that way of thinking when it came to this year's votes. I'm not going to lie. I want to show Marvel that there is so much good Spider-Man out there. And don't get me wrong, I know you're printing a lot, but you're just not quite printing the right stuff.
Not enough.
But anyway, to contradict that, number 10 is Spider-Man. Number 10 is Dr. Doom, The Modern Years. Now, this would be a pretty cool book. We have already had Dr. Doom, the Book of Doom omnibus that went out of print rather quickly, and that was a rather chunky looking book that contained all of Doctor Doom's original appearances. Obviously, a lot of it in Fantastic Four, and
Cool.
it's a great book to have on your shelf. We are hoping to get that reprinted at some point, but the modern years would obviously be a volume 2 or a continuation of that, especially his mini series that he has had in all of the modern years, the last 20, 30 years, that has not been printed in oversized hardcover format before. Yeah.
That's cool. So is it so that we're looking at the same era as the Blade one that I talked about, that whole 2002 to 2022? That kind of same era?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'd say if Marvel or Disney has any sense in their noggin, they
Just
should
stop
put
there.
that one out. They should put that Doom book out as quickly as they can, just to capitalize. Yeah.
Mhm.
They should have already done it because it's not long now. Yeah. You know, with the Doom as well, you could have infamous Iron Man, I think it was, that mini-series. You could have the 12 issue, I think it was 12 issues of his latest run that he did maybe last year or the year before. He's just had so much good material that would just be great to have.
True.
Steve,
All right.
number 9.
All right.
Number 9.
Number 9. You guys probably too young to remember that. So I've gone with something which is a little bit out of left field. Beau and I briefly touched on this, and he'll probably give his thoughts on that in just a moment. But I've gone with Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, the Gameverse, 2018 and 2023. Let's be honest, the Spider-Man games are freaking cool. They are so good, so well done. Look at him laughing his ass off already. Tell me why. Tell me why, my friend, this was a shit choice, because I'm going to disagree with you.
I don't know, man. I go back and forth with this one because when it first came out, I grabbed the first 3 issues or so because the covers were done by Clayton Crane and they were beautiful covers. And that's the only reason why I got them. And when I finally started reading them, I didn't realize, in my stupidity, I don't know how, maybe I missed the solicitations or what, but I didn't realize it was about the game. And I'm reading it and it wasn't bad, but I'm like, yeah, it's a what if universe or whatever. But it just didn't sell me. So I gave up on it. But then a year or two later, I got a PlayStation and I played the games. And I straight away went, I kind of want to read these now because I really got into that universe, you know? So I look, I'm not against a collected edition of it, but as a most wanted omnibus choice, yeah, man, I disagree with that one. But hey, that's just my opinion, dude.
But that's why we're doing this.
Can I just counter with how good Injustice is, and it's based on the game. So
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Hey,
No,
you can.
I just thought it was a different take. Sorry, Sharif, you go, mate.
Sorry.
You go.
Oh, I was just gonna say you could capture lightning in a bottle again. Who knows? Get the. Yeah.
I just thought it was just something a little different. So some of the stuff you'll see, you probably go, yeah, I can kind of understand why Steve picked that, or like my top 2 probably might surprise a couple of people. But I just thought, something cool, something a little bit different, because you got, with your Omnis, there's always massive stories that everyone knows and all that sort of stuff, and this isn't huge. So for someone who's a real sort of spider collector like yourself, Beau, I thought this might be a really, really good pick because it's something out of the ordinary.
I'd love to see if I can find out, if it doesn't make it into the list, what number that actually reached this year. I'm very curious to know now.
Will we actually find out the results? Is that the kind of thing that they'll publish?
I think they let us know, obviously, the top
20, I guess.
Yeah. Sometimes I think from memory he may just let us know the 30 or so. But yeah, I don't think he lets you know everything. Maybe
Yeah.
he has a Patreon. So it's possible if you pay for the Patreon, which isn't very much, it's like $3 or $4 or something. You might be able to get that written documentation through there.
Be interesting to find out just how well it would go. My gut feeling is, I mean, I thought the whole concept behind it was really cool, but I don't think for a lot of people it's going to be up there in their high priorities. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
Sharif, what's your ninth pick?
You've gone to something a little different. Mine is an established character, but not the character that we usually associate this character. Okay, so this is a split character. Split. This is Split. He's green. He's big, but he's not Bruce. He's Amadeus. So, yeah, we've got Bruce Banner Hulk, we've got Red Hulk, and then we've got Amadeus Cho, who is totally awesome. He's run, I think, in the 20s or 30s issues, so that by itself is a fairly complete collection. And he I think he is part of the Champions team as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you've got his own story, and then if you want to read more of him with a younger team, you've got the Champions as well. So
you could also would you prefer it to be that possibly thin, smaller sized Omni with the way you said it, or that way, as well as Amadeus Cho's appearances before Hulk? Because that's fairly recent, like in the scale of things for Amadeus Cho. Amadeus Cho's been around for a long time before that. Would you just make it an Amadeus Cho omnibus, or would you just prefer it to be just that Hulk? So you've got just Hulks on your shelf.
I see what you mean. We could have maybe for the first one his own series, and then a follow-up, maybe the earliest before but how much material would that be? Would that be enough for another volume?
I honestly don't know, to be honest. I'd really need to look into it, but I just thought, I know that he's a character that's had appearances in other comics and blah blah. Why wouldn't you just make an Amadeus Cho omnibus? But then I had another thought that contradicted it. And what if you don't care about Amadeus Cho and you only care about the Hulk? So I can understand why you'd want just the Hulk Amadeus on your shelf, for example, as well. I think either way, I think it's a good idea.
All right. Let's hear your number 9.
So my number 9 is quite simple. It is Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 2. I'm actually surprised it hasn't been done already, seeing as 1 came out fairly recently, and I'm believing it did well. I actually don't know if it did, but I would love to get all of the original Amazing, Spectacular, Web, and just Peter Parker and whatnot, all in omnibus format. So yeah, that'd be great if they did that.
Can you just imagine how many cubes those books are going to take up in your K-Lex?
You need to move again just for another room.
No, I'd figure something out. Don't you worry.
You turn that garage, mate. That garage would be an ideal space.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go. There's an idea. There's an idea. All right, I guess we're over to me for my 8th pick. So again, not knowing a great deal about these guys. I've only read a little bit, and again, the more modern stuff is what I like, and Thunderbolts Volume 4. So I'll be honest with you guys, I got a little bit of help with picking this one. What the hell is a Thunderbolt? I didn't pick those. That's a different group. They're shit. Thunderbolts are actually all right.
It's got an asterisk at the end.
Yeah. It's like the second team. There's an extra letter in there. Yeah, look, I don't know a lot about it. I still haven't seen the movie either, which is a shame, but hopefully I'll get to see it maybe this weekend. But it's just a cool concept. And I know my good friend with the beard, not Sharif, obviously, would love to get his hands on this one. So this is a vote for a mate more than anything. So I hope this one comes through, bud, because I know you really want this one.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't know what
You
to
are
say.
welcome.
We've got it, like, you know, I mean, we've got it's somewhere here, just here. We've got every single Thunderbolts omnibus except this one.
You can't have an incomplete collection. That's just not on.
You know, and not only that, but in my opinion, it's the best Thunderbolts material. So how dare they leave that till last and then maybe not even print it? Like, oh my God, it kills me, you know, absolutely kills me. So yeah, I'll take that vote from you.
You're welcome, mate. But that being said, I want to know what my friend Sharif says about his 8th pick. Who'd you pick, and what did you pick? And tell us about it, mate.
So my number 8 is a little bit left field. It's from the TV universe, but it's been printed before. I've looked into this. It is in my hopefully custom project. All in is about 26 issues, and it is Elf.
There is no way.
Wow, an Elf Omnibus.
Look, so if anything, if it can get made, why not? Because like you said, well, I collect some.
I reckon more people be interested in my Gamerverse rather than an Elf Omnibus.
What a waste of a vote.
No, it's not.
Do you know, it's that quirky, mate. It'll probably get made.
Well, you know what the scary thing is that if they actually made it, I'd buy it.
I wonder what it'd be like to read.
If Star Wars printed, if Marvel printed Star Wars droids, what's that? The droids and what is it? Droids and Ewoks. How can you say they won't do Elf?
Yeah, you actually raise a valid point, mate. That's intriguing. I'm not going to say it's interesting. That's intriguing.
And you know what the funny thing is as well is the reason why, well, maybe not the reason, but a funny reason why that's actually in there is because there's an inside joke with near mint condition, and the people that the fans of the minties, they call them, right? And that is that Omar, the host, loves Alf. So they're always rubbing it in his face all the time, every week on his live show. When's the Alf Omnibus? You know, when's the Alf Omnibus? You know, and he's like, "Shut up! There's never an Alf Omnibus." You know,
isn't our good friend James Abel also a bit of an Alf fan?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know if James does it on purpose just to annoy Omar, or if he actually is, to be honest. But either way, I'm
a secret fan. Don't tell anyone.
So, you know, if there's enough people out there that think like Sharif, or have just voted as a joke, there could be a lot of votes for it.
That's how politicians get in, mate. People go, "Oh, this will be funny. Let's see if he gets in." Oh shit, he did.
Oh, we're not going there.
No. Quite topical at the moment in Australia. What about 8, mate? Who's your 8th pick? What did you go for?
My number 8 is another Spider-Man one, and I chose this one because sometimes you look at your collection and you go, I wish I could replace these bunch of trades with one hardcover collection because the titles don't even make sense and I don't want them on my shelf together. I want something beautifully bound all together. So I chose Spider-Man, the Marvel Knights series.
Ooh.
as well as the Sensational Spider-Man collected between 2004 and 06. So that would be both series. Marvel Knights lasted longer than I think it should have. And that's no diss to it. I'm not used to Marvel Knights lasting so long, except for maybe Daredevil. But it went for a while. And Sensational, that was a title that dipped in and out over the years. It never really lasted that long. Sometimes it replaced Spectacular. But in this era, they would go really, really well together.
So actually, Sensational. So Marvel Knights ran for 22 issues, and then it got the title got changed to Sensational, and then oh my god, Sensational
English.
Carried on with issue 23 all the way till I want to say 40. So that this continuous run between Marvel Knights and Sensational, you'll have about 40 issues right there, and then who knows if there were an annual or whatever, maybe. Or at the end of Marvel Knights, you've got that 12 issue The Other storyline. So if issue 19 to 22 is going to be in there, they've got to include Amazing Spider-Man and Spectacular as well to finish up, to make the other storyline complete. So
yeah.
So you're looking at about probably 50 issues in that collection there, right there.
Man, I didn't even realize it was going to be that big.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, how good would that be?
That'd be pretty cool.
Sensational.
See what you did there? Good work. All right. Number seven for me, I've gone probably not with one of the biggish sort of ones, but still a pretty big one. And just the concept behind it, I've gone with Avengers, Dark Avengers, because it's Bendis. I've got to be honest with you. I saw Bendis, I'm like, yeah, I should probably pick that one, because we all know Bendis is absolutely amazing. So, Dark Avengers, I'll be honest, I haven't read any of it. I don't know much about it, but the concept behind it, a little bit of research I've done, very cool. So it's something I'd actually be interested in reading one day. So if any of you guys have got it, great, you've probably got something. I wouldn't mind having a look. How about it looks there? Check it out. So my number 7, Avengers, The Dark Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah.
That is a great.
Well, with Dark Avengers, they'll also have to include that, what is it, Exodus story arc. So apart from the 16 issues, and then you'll have maybe about 8 more issues in there. But Dark Avengers, they've got their fingers all over the Marvel universe when the series was out. So apart from the core series, Marvel will definitely have more material to add if they want.
So it could be pretty chunky.
Sorry, Steve.
I was going to say, it could be a pretty chunky monkey of an Omni.
Well, you may as well put in my number 6 answer, because that's mine. And I've got down here from Crushing Crisis, their website, saying that it can include Utopia, Exodus, and Siege. So that would be just freaking I cannot wait to reread this Dark Reign era, all of it that ends in Siege, man, again, because that was just the pinnacle of Marvel for me, man. And to have that in omnibus format, or all of that era, that is
I love the excitement. And I'm glad I picked something that was appropriate for the audience.
It excites me, the thought of getting that omnibus. You put that with the Thunderbolts, Volume 4, and oh my God. Oh, dude. What a companion. Not that they're companions of each other, but, read, Norman Osborn, controller of it all, mate. All.
Yeah, read them side by side.
Where are we up to?
We are at my number 7. Let's reveal this Canadian Canuck. 3 claws, baby. But it's a different series from his regular one. This is Wolverine Origins.
Ooh.
By Daniel Way. If you don't know, this run is a 50 issue run plus maybe 1 or 2 annual. So it could be one fat thick Omni or 2 slightly average size ones.
Oh, I'm trying to remember if there's any other content. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting that you might need as well with it, but I can't picture it. But yeah, I think it might need to be 2 Omnis. But then again, in this day and age, they've come out with some fat Omnis, haven't they?
I've got a few, but it's nice to look at it on the shelf. But man, when you start reading it, you can't put it on your lap. It has to be on. It has to be on the desk. You can't bring it anywhere.
Or a special reading cushion.
Oh, my belly.
Did you end up finishing Wolverine Origins?
I only bought the first trade, and then sadly,
okay. It's a great read all the way through. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. All right.
What's your number 7, mate?
What's your number 7?
My number 7 is again, sounds like a boring answer, but it's my list, and that is Web of Spider-Man volume number 2, because after 40, 50 years, I don't know how long it's been now. I'm not doing maths, but it's shocking that we just got Web of Spider-Man volume 1 now. We need Web of Spider-Man collected. In the long scheme of things, it didn't last that long, but growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was always Web of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Spider-Man. So I remember when they cancelled Web of Spider-Man, I couldn't believe it because it was always around. So for us not to have a collection of Spectacular and Web of Spider-Man in omnibus format is just an absolute tragedy.
And when you think about it, 1991 was 34 years ago. And they still haven't brought it out.
Yep.
That's crazy when you think about it, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
Crazy. All right, number 6.
Steve, you're number 6.
All right, I've gone for, well, I'll be honest with you. When I quickly read the list, I thought, the Clown Saga, what's that about? But it wasn't. It was Clone Saga. So I was disappointed there were no clowns. So I've gone with Spider-Man Clone Saga Aftermath, Volume 4, Gathering of 5, the last chapter from 1998. Disappointed, no clowns. Plenty of clones, but no clowns.
Volume 4.
Volume 4. Well, there's probably a reason why I picked Volume 4. Stay tuned.
Okay. Man, do I have feelings and thoughts about this era of Spider-Man.
Okay, what did you love about it? What didn't you love about it?
Oh, well, I mean, the Clone Saga finally ended definitively, as much as comics can be definitive. And it was sort of like a new era, and the Gathering of Five was sort of, from memory anyway, the last storyline with the Green Goblin for a while, where he had a cult sort of summoning ritual where a member of five, a council of five, would each get these amazing powers, and one of them would go mad out of the five. And it was a gamble who was going to go mad. And it was always implied that it was going to be Norman Osborn, of course, because it's always Norman Osborn. But then they flipped it on its head and it was somebody else. But then they flipped it on its head again, I think, and it ended up being Norman Osborn. Anyway, this is where Spider-Girl comes from as well. Aranya, I think she ended up being called. I do get confused at my age with the amount of different Spider-Girls there are. I can't remember if they're the same person or two different Spider-Girls, but I think they're the same Spider-Girl. This is where she first came from. She first dressed up in an exact Spider-Man costume, but had a long ponytail for a while. Yeah. Then she completely changed her look and looked more like a kid, more happier and, whatever that means. It was a good era, but then it got shit. The last chapter, man, that was like a real era, that we really needed to get past and pass quickly. And the only way we have that in a collected edition is in the John Byrne Spider-Man Omnibus. That is just horrible because it's incomplete stories, but it's all John Byrne work that has a lot of this last chapter in it. And I feel like I'm rambling, but so bottom line is that we need this to replace that crap John Byrne omnibus, but we need it to have all the Spider-Man omnibuses in a row. I'm done.
I was thinking of putting this as an option, part of my 10, but then I thought, why would I, when I already made one? So Gathering of Five and final chapter. So I've saved one spot for something truly worthy of my choice, and that is Fantastic Four: Heroes Return. Once the dust settled from the battle with Onslaught, all the heroes came back to 616 and back with the number one. I think we've already got Cap. Who else?
In the Heroes Return.
Oh, Thor. Yes, we've got Thor: Heroes Return. So
we've got all of them except the Fantastic Four now.
That's the reason why it's on my list.
Yeah,
we need it.
It is weird that it hasn't. They haven't done it. It's really weird, to be honest. They've released so much Fantastic Four starting from the beginning, and so much great stuff. Why would they have not? I haven't read it. I don't know if it's good, but just the fact that it's missing is just weird.
There's that blank spot on the shelf that needs to be filled.
It's like a hole in your heart, isn't it? It needs to be filled with a book.
Halfway there, boys. We're halfway there.
All right. Okay, number 5. Well, I said volume 4 was my number 6 pick for the Clone Saga. I'm going with Spider Hunt Identity Crisis volume 3. So yes, there is a little theme here.
I see where this is going.
No clowns. Just no.
Okay.
No, but you can't have volume 4 and not have volume 3. Unless, of course, you've already got volume 3, but it hasn't been made. So that's a side story. What just happened?
I've got to admit, I don't remember Spider Hunt off the top of my head. But Identity Crisis, I was such a sucker for when I was a kid. Sharif, have you read that storyline?
Was that the one that he made up 4 characters?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've got it. I may have a trait of that. It's not within reach.
At one point, Spider-Man was like illegal. You can't be Spider-Man, right? So he didn't know what to do because he didn't want to stop being a superhero because he had to save people and whatnot. So him and Mary Jane came up with the idea that who says he has to be Spider-Man? Why can't he just go out and be why can't he just go out and be a different superhero, right? Yeah, that's it. So Spider-Man ended up making 4 different costumes and creating 4 new superheroes. It was Prodigy, Dusk, Ricochet, and
Hornet.
Geez, you've done well to remember all of those.
Yeah, man, I know my Spider-Man, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, you do.
And anyway, and after he bounces all of these identities around for a while, which, by the way, when they were coming out, because Spider-Man had 4 issues coming out every month, one being Amazing, one being Spectacular, one being Web, and one being just Spider-Man, for about a month or so, they changed it where like one was Prodigy, one was Dusk, and it was really cool. Anyway, when that all ended, those identities of those characters ended up going to actual teenagers with those same powers comics, right? And those 4 superheroes then became a team, and that comic was called Slingers, and that lasted about 25 issues, man, and it was pretty cool. I liked it. We should put that in the collected edition.
Yes.
I got to say though, out of the 4, I really like the Irish one the best.
The Irish one?
Who?
Yeah, Rick O'Shea.
I fell for that, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Hook, line, and sinker. Come on, Sharif.
This will be my second TV entry onto the list. It's out there if you believe.
Shit. Sorry.
Oh wow!
It's the X-Files. Yes. So for the books that Topps released, it ran for about 3-4 years. So substantially a substantial amount of material available for an Omni. So yeah.
So we talking about Topps as in like the trading card company actually released comics as well?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes.
There you go.
So you were 2 years old when you found out?
I don't know. I was ancient when I found out.
I didn't realize there was that much material. Like, I remember once thinking to myself, I want to collect the X-Files comics when I rewatched it a couple of years ago. And I saw a couple of trades here and there for sale, but I just kept like seeing different random ones, and I had no idea there was that much.
Yeah, Topps started it all, and then it moved to IDW. I think one of the later releases had X-Files crossover with, if I'm not mistaken, 30 Days of Night. So, yeah.
Oh, that would have been fascinating.
Yeah, I've got them crossing over with something else in IDW, like Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles or something as well.
Yes, there were a few of those.
Yeah. All right.
Let's hear number 5.
My number 5 is a very similar one to my Marvel Knights and Sensational for number 8. This one is going to be Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man, both by Paul Jenkins, because they kept changing the titles around. This would have both Peter Parker series and Spectacular. Get rid of those trades, baby. Put it in an omnibus for me. Makes it easier for my bookshelf, because sometimes when I move books around and I think I've put them in the right spot, 6 months later I realize they're not. And then I'm going to read the back and the small print and say, what issues are in these? I'm sick of living that life. I just want nice, big, thick books that are easy.
Yeah, or the bookshelf falls down and then you've got to call out for help when it lands on top of you, and then you've got to rearrange all those books again.
I've got to plug myself in because my light's flashing.
While he's on that, Steve.
Yeah.
Before, mate.
Number 4. What did I pick? Let me think. I went with there we go. Volume 2. As I said, there's a bit of a theme. Stand in the clone. That's all I know of that song. It was an old person's song, and it's older than me. Shut up, bro. So, yeah, there's a bit of a theme here. So you can probably guess what my next one's going to be, but I'll surprise you. So you can't have 3, you can't have 4 without having 2, and maybe something else.
Hey, look, man, if we get volume 1 to 4 next year of the
You're
Clone
welcome.
Saga,
You're welcome.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be upset with you.
You're welcome.
It'll be upset.
It'll happen. Sharif, number 4.
I think this is my first non-Marvel and others. Okay, this is my first DC. Alien versus Predator versus DC. So this, I think, so most of this would have come out in the 90s. 90s is the best. So we've got Batman, Predator, Batman Aliens, Superman, Predator, Superman Aliens, Green Lantern Aliens, JLA Predator, and then we've got the Superman, Batman versus Predator and Aliens. We've got a lot of DC crossing over with Dark Horse and those property. Yes, it's going to be a good read.
Your memory is just phenomenal. How on earth do you remember all of that?
Because
I can't remember what colour shirt I wore 2 days ago. And I wear a uniform for work.
Yeah, man. 90s books are what I started with when I started comics. So yeah, a lot of single issues.
That's impressive. That's impressive, mate. Very impressive. Number 4, boss man.
I just want to say, I'm not going to lie. It's very hard to not have that book on your list. Like, I'd love that, man. That'd be such a good omnibus to get. You know, I'd love to get all that Aliens versus Predator stuff that still hasn't been released. You know,
yeah,
that'd be great. What number are we up to? 4.
Number 4.
Alrighty. So there is a few errors of Spectacular Spider-Man that I'm really would die to get. We are already getting one this year. This year it's coming out. The DeMatteis Spectacular Spider-Man that has the error of around issue 200. I'm just so glad that they made that Spectacular Omnibus. So I'm hoping that they do a few more. So my number 4 is Spectacular Spider-Man by Peter David. This would fit before a maybe Conway Omnibus that hasn't been made either, and it could include other Peter David or whatnot material as well. I got all that from Crushing Crisis website, but when you do look into the issues that it could have, that's an error that would be fantastic.
That's cool, mate. That is cool.
A lot of good Spider-Man stories did come out in the 80s as well.
So what's that, 85 to 87, yeah? Wow. That's when I look like this. There you go. That's me as a 16-year-old with hair.
And with that, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Comic Bookaroo. Comic Bookaroo, proud sponsors of Aussieverse for all your comic book needs. Graphic novels, hardcovers, omnibuses, single issues. Don't forget to pre-order every Sunday at Comic Bookaroo. Comic Bookaroo, Australia's #1 online comic book store. Free bag and board with every issue bought, and you can buy now and get shipping later with their build a box option.
Do you know what else I like about Comic Bookaroo?
Yes, sir.
They've got hair.
They've got hair.
They've got hair. They've got hair. Good on you, fellas. Good on you, fellas. Well, here's a great shock. Spider-Man Clone Saga, Volume 1. Mind blown. Aftermath Volume 1. From 1997. So there you go. That's the full set. So if they come out, seriously, if all 4 of them come out as Omnis, you're welcome. I did a good job.
Thank you. You did a good job. Yes, you did.
I did real good. I did real good. See, good boy.
I'm glad you voted at least, some of them for yourself.
Look, as I said before, I may have had some advice and some help with some of these, and I greatly appreciate that assistance from someone in this room.
Oh, people are going to hate me.
Sharif.
Right, top 3. So my list, I try to have it as varied as I can. So one of the stuff that came out, let's see, when did most of this come out? 2008 and 2009. Characters like X-Men, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Punisher, Wolverine. Marvel published these characters in a black and white, and they were called noir.
Oh, the Omnibus.
That's very good. I hope they name it that. The Omnibus.
That would be that's a great pick as well, Sharif.
Thank you. I'm only recently I've started to appreciate black and white art, and what better way to actually celebrate that with a whole book in black and white? Like we've had Batman black and white, so why not anything from Marvel that they've already come out in black and white? And like that list of characters that I've mentioned, top tier characters, so it's going to be a good read.
So I don't know if you'd be able to fit it in one, because correct me if I'm wrong, you've got Spider-Man, you've got Wolverine, you've got X-Men, Luke Cage, Iron Man, Punisher, then a sequel to Spider-Man, a sequel to X-Men.
I'll help you out. I've already got the list for my custom. So in 2008, X-Men Noir 1 to 4. In 2009, there's a whole list. Daredevil 4 issues, Luke Cage 4 issues, Punisher, Punisher 4, Spider-Man 4 issues, Spider-Man Noir Eyes Without a Face 4 issues, Wolverine 4 issues, X-Men Mark of Cain 4 issues, and then the following year to 2010 Iron Man 4 issues, Weapon X, this is a one shot. 10 years after that, in 2020, we've got Fantastic Four Grim Noir, also a one shot, and the latest Spider-Man Noir 5 issues. So I haven't tabulated all of that yet, but it's a lot.
Yeah, I think it's 2 Omnis.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, imagine that. You wanted one and you got 2 instead. How good would that be?
Yeah. But that would be cool. That would be really, really cool.
That'd be awesome.
Right.
Number 3, boss, what do you got?
So mine I alluded to in my last answer. So sorry to be a bore, but the truth is it's Spectacular Spider-Man by Conway and Buscema. That would fit, right before the DeMatteis Omnibus. That is coming out that I'm really happy to get. So I would love to get the one just before that era. If I could only choose one Spectacular Spider-Man Omni to get, other than the ones that are already coming out, this would be it.
Oh wow, you are gonna have such a complete run
of Spider-Man. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
How good would it be? We'd still need a few more Spectacular and Web, and probably some sort of Peter Parker or Spectacular again, Omni maybe. There's definitely just some Spider-Man. You know, they did that small Spider-Man Omnibus by McFarlane. But you really need, like, that Spider-Man title alone went for past 50 issues. No, it went to 100. No, that was Web. Yeah, still it went past 50 issues, I think. So it's still a lot that is uncollected as well.
That's cool.
Oh.
All right. Number 2. All right. So for me, I went something a little bit different. I think this guy is absolutely underrated and we need to see him in some sort of film. So he's actually my favorite out of the 3, and that's Danny Ketch. So I'm going with Ghost Rider Danny Ketch Volume 4. I loved him as Ghost Rider, and that's actually was sort of my first foray into reading Ghost Rider. I knew about Johnny Blaze and all that sort of stuff, but really sort of got stuck into the Danny Ketch stuff. So a Danny Ketch Omni would be absolutely brilliant, and I'd love to see him on the silver screen one day, because we've had Nick Cage doing his Johnny Blaze. We've had, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever the show is called, we had Reyes in there as well. But yeah, I'd love to see a Danny Ketch. That would be amazing.
It's hard to argue with that. I'm not gonna lie.
My number 2. So this character has lived a really, really long life. So he's a really old man. He's Old Man Logan. Old Man.
Yeah. Okay.
So Old Man Logan, his series, another 50 issue run with a couple of annuals here and there. But if you take the whole Old Man universe, they call it what? The Wasteland. Wastelanders. Yeah. So you've got you could get more material other than Logan once this comes out. So yeah, you've got Old Man Quill, Old Man Hawkeye. The series can continue on beyond this.
Yeah, I always wondered about, obviously the way you've said it is right for Wolverine, because there was so much, but I always thought about doing like a Wastelanders omnibus, which would just have all of those mini-series of
That'd be cool.
Old Man Hawkeye, Old Man Wolverine, at least the original bits. God, who else? There was Old Man Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was one more as well. And then there was a mini series they did as well. You know, there's just a few things that I think, without going into the Wolverine series itself later, would be a decent size omnibus on its own as well.
Yeah.
It'd actually be an interesting story, like just to have them form a team of old blokes. Not trying to be funny about it, but just with their experiences and all that sort of stuff. That'd be a really interesting read.
Yeah.
Bunch of geriatrics.
Yeah. And they'll drive around in a broken down old like minivan or something like that. That'd be cool. What's your penultimate pick, my good man?
Well, I should have mentioned it before, actually, because you picked it ages ago. But mine's the Thunderbolts Volume 4. I already said why. I'm just dying for this omnibus. Dying for it.
Very shit. Very shit. Very shit. Get on it. All
Gents,
right.
we are at our number one pick.
We are here, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. All right. I'm going to finish off following on from the one I just talked about. So I'm talking about Danny Ketch, Volume 3, 1993-1994, a.k.a. Siege of Darkness. Again, I'm not going to need to go too much into it. Just please, Marvel, do something about bringing Ghost Rider back and make sure it's bloody Danny Ketch. We need something different.
I think Danny Ketch's day is going to be coming pretty soon. They've been doing Ghost Rider. They've been doing Ghost Rider, not so bad compared to the last 20, 30 years in collected editions.
That's
cool. They've released Cosmic Ghost Rider. They've released Ghost Rider 2099. They've released 2 editions now of Danny Ketch, sorry, obviously. Man, they've done a few. So it's good.
I'd be very interested to read everything when it's all collected together. It'd be awesome. Sharif, what's your number one?
My number one pick is, if it gets done, it may be a multi-volume run. One of the biggest storylines Marvel has pumped out. It even got its title in one of the Captain America movies. It is Civil War.
Oh, baby.
That's a great call.
So we've already got the main series collected in trade, hardcover, OHC, but in order to see the scope of how far the ramifications reach throughout the Marvel universe, it's gonna need more than those 7 issues that is collected. We've got to get everything.
That's a great choice.
Let's hear another great choice. Bo.
Yeah.
Well, hang on, with Sharif's answer as well, a part of me wants to say that everybody's first choice should be Civil War, because it's just it's criminal that they haven't done it. It's just it makes no sense. No sense at all. We've spoken about it openly in forums and all this sorts of crap before, where after now we think the only events they haven't done is Civil War, Fear Itself, maybe Siege and stuff like that. But they've pretty much done everything else. How could you not do Civil War, which is, as far as I know, genuinely, most people love it. other than not. It makes no sense, man. You know, I can't believe they haven't done it. And I didn't vote for it because I still believe they're going to do it. Like, I don't understand, you know? But those hardcovers are pretty big, dude. Like, there was a Spider-Man one, Captain America, New Avengers, Thunderbolts, I think a Spectacular Spider-Man, a Punish. You know, that's going to have to be 2 Omnis, I think.
At least.
Yeah. But it's a great choice.
Thank you very much.
Look, mine's pretty obvious, man. You know, I've gone on and on about how much I love the Clone Saga and that era of Spider-Man. So if I'm not going to get everything leading up to the Clone Saga, then I want everything following the Clone Saga. And my number 1 pick is the Clone Saga Aftermath Volume 1, only because I'd like to get that gathering and that sort of tail end of that story in an omnibus before it gets bad for a little bit. Yeah, you know, if this was already made and bought and next year's one has Volume 2 onwards, I might not vote so high for Volume 2 compared to other Omnis, but I've got to get at least the Volume 1, I think.
Yeah. It's got Ben Reilly in it. Of course you'd have to get it.
Yeah.
Goes without saying.
I'm really optimistic for Volume 1s because if it's something that a lot of people want, they'll get a lot of a large amount of pre-orders. That's going to get done. Hopefully, Marvel or whichever publisher don't sit on their asses and wait ages to put out Volume 2 like New Avengers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean the collected edition community, especially omnibus collectors, we are a growing community. Our pockets are deep. Some of us.
Are they?
Yeah, but I'd like hopefully.
I'm looking at your list, Sharif, and every book except maybe not every book. I was about to say every book except
Elf.
and I've got to be honest, the Amadeus Cho one, if it's just the Hulk, I probably couldn't care if I don't have that on my shelf, to be honest. Apart from those two, every other one you've picked, I'd want.
Yeah, I can see why.
You've exceeded yourself, my friend. Well done, sir.
And Steve, seeing as what 1, 2, 4 of your answers sound like your actual own, you've chosen good as well.
Like that line from The Last Crusade. I've chosen wisely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this. We did.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really good.
Yeah.
As I speak for everybody.
Okay.
What do you guys got going on for the rest of the week?
Got footy on Saturday, Mother's Day Sunday. Don't forget, if you're in Australia, it's Mother's Day on Sunday. Be kind to your mums. Give them some love. Buy them something nice. Be good to your mums.
Be good to your mums.
Be good to your mums. And if you're not around your mum, be good to someone else's mum.
Anyway, we will be back. Well, I will be back for Backlash, WWE Backlash this weekend. We will be talking with other guests, other wrestling heads about all the shenanigans that WWE have done at their latest premium live event. So join us. It'll be live straight after the pay-per-view or the premium live event, whatever they want to call it now. And yeah, we've got a few other things coming out, but unless you guys know them off the top of your head,
no,
without me searching through my calendar, no, of course you don't. Well,
not yet. No, not yet, but soon.
Alrighty. Well, what is Aussieverse, boys?
Oh yes, it is for
Oh,
life.
my meow meow, my life, my meow 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 meow.